between the two councils.
Who owns the bridge, Susan Hall?
Well, it's between the two councils. Apparently, it's not very clear. Well, I'm a bit disappointed.
So this interviewer, I don't really watch LBC, but this guy I think this guy's quite fair, really.
By this response, because it shows a basic factual misunderstanding of the case. The bridge doesn't belong to two councils; it only belongs to one council, which is Hammersmith and Fulham.
What's a copper urn?
So, at the moment, across all the Ulez groups, there's quite a lot of disagreements going on, mainly over the election. There's a main group of people who are commanding the larger groups. Kingsley Hamilton and his crew, and this Nick Arlett guy who seems very, very highly prolific. I think these people manage all the funds. Now, I really like Kingsley. I think he's great. I've actually been helping him out with his legal case. And also I've got a lot of complaints as well to the Judicial Conduct Office, which is going to cover pretty much everything, all of the Extinction Rebellion cases, Just Stop Oil, these cases with Stop Ulez, just everyone really and everything. The problem is that there is existing now a right of appeal to Parliament, which is the petition. And the right of appeal to Parliament can be over actually anything. It can be civil, criminal, political, whatever. There is a right of appeal to either houses of Parliament granted institute law. And this includes even Julian Assange as well, Julian Assange's case. It also includes the criminal charges that people have been subjected to. And it also includes things like any order that the councils have made, like even a planning development order and Ulez. There is a right of appeal to the House of Commons, and the appeal is by petition. And some of these cases are live. They reject a lot of them unjustly and unlawfully when there aren't any proper procedure rules and there's no legal basis for them to reject the petitions. They're just making excuses up. But some of them are live. Now, Dave Fowler has got a live petition. It's got about 1,600 signatures. I don't know why people aren't signing that one. They went and signed all the Change.org ones, but it's all one matter and they've all got to be added together anyway. So Tim Rowling's petition as well to the House of Commons, and Khan, and this other guy called John Swilowski or something like that. Now the problem is that there is an appeal going on to the House of Commons with Dave Fowler's petition, and it figures into the judicial framework of England. It figures into the legal framework of the United Kingdom, and it is live on House of Commons, and the legal effects of that are set out in the Justices of the Peace Act and the Courts Act 2003, which says that any appeal to the House, to either houses of Parliament, right? Any orders or powers for instruments that have been made into effect are subject to an annulment pursuant of the appeal for a resolution to Parliament. No one needs to be confused with that, and no one needs to be, feel like they don't know what it means. It's not complicated. It means that when you are petitioning either of the houses of Parliament with a case which is an appeal for a resolution, wherever you're appealing from, then whatever order has been made is subject to an annulment because you're appealing it. Now, you can see this in effect if you get prosecuted by a magistrate's court and you appeal to a Crown Court. What happens? Well, the effects of the order are not applied to you because you're appealing it to the Crown Court. Now, that is what the appeal is. And the thing is, you don't have to go Magistrates Court, Crown Court, High Court, Supreme Court. You can actually, there is a legal right even from a council to seek a resolution from Parliament. And when you're seeking a resolution from Parliament, the order that the council made is subject to an annulment, right? Now that means Ulez, the cameras, the expansion of Ulez, which is what Dave Fowler's petitioning about, is now, since he lodged that petition, subject to an annulment. And the thing is that Tim Rowling even gave a 200,000 signature petition to sue this woman here who is running for election. Now, what's happening is that all these protesters, on all of them, a large number of them, some of them are, taking cameras down or, putting stickers over them, doing political actions, blocking the installation of them and various other actions. And, and what's happened is that they shouldn't need to do that because the cameras shouldn't be on now and people shouldn't be getting fined, and that's the law, right? And yet that Nick M. Arlott guy, no one contests that he isn't doing amazing work. He's doing loads of campaigning work. He's raised loads of money. He's helping people out. But his friend Stephen got prosecuted. Now, Sue Hall didn't do anything to help with that, yet Nick M. Arlott seems to be all over Sue Hall. Yet she didn't help him out with his friend. Sue Hall has been handed that petition, and Dave Fowler's is meant to combine with it, and Parliament are meant to tell Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, that his order, which activated the cameras and put them into effect, is subject to an annulment now because they're pursuing an appeal for a resolution and they're collecting signatures. Now, if the cameras get turned off now and everyone stops getting fined, then people will go, oh, wow, we actually, we don't even need to cut the cameras down or cover them with stickers or whatever they're doing or block their installation because they only need to sign Dave Fowler's petition. But seeing as John Wazowski and Tim Rowling already have got 400,000 signatures between themselves, they've already got more than enough signatures for a resolution in Parliament. Anyway, added to Dave Fowler's. But everyone would go, wow, we the people have the power, which is basically what Matt Hardy's been saying all along, and the cameras will be turned off, and then everyone will go, wow, we really have got power, praise the Lord. And then everyone who has signed those Change.org petitions would be signing Dave Fowler's as well, with the motivation, realising what power they've got. And then everyone wouldn't be running around like headless chickens saying, oh, we have to vote for Sue Hall because we have no option. Only she, once elected, can push a button and turn the cameras off, when we the people already have the power and have exercised the power to turn them off. And the worst thing is that Rishi Sunak, the Conservative Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, who's a Tory, who claims that he's against the whole Ulez campaign anyway, why wouldn't he act on Dave Fowler's petition and Tim Rowling's for a resolution now to turn the cameras off? Why would you need to vote for Sue Hall to do it when we can get a resolution from Parliament? Now, if Rishi Sunak, the Conservative leader, chooses, if he is delaying and denying a resolution ignoring the people's power to get the cameras turned off pending resolution now, where all these fines that are being getting sent out and all the damage being done and people getting prosecuted. What Rishi Sunak is doing as Prime Minister now is blackmailing the country that if you vote for my Conservative colleague Sue Hall in the election, we'll turn the cameras off. But we're not going to turn them off because of the lawful due process of an appeal for resolution that Dave Fowler has submitted, that is lodged and active and now has already exercised the power to turn the cameras off, but the Mayor hasn't turned them off and the Petitions Committee hasn't told the Mayor to turn them off. So this is not only an abuse of process, it is a perversion of the course of justice. Justice is not just criminal law, by the way. Justice means due process of law, any laws, any law, any effects or processes of law is justice, right? So we've got a criminal network here. This is racketeering, and this is like what was going on with the illegal road signage. I called it bracketeering. It's racketeering. What it's doing is it's bribing people in order to get things out of them. It's extorting money out of people. It's holding a monopoly. It's saying, we won't do this or that unless you do this or that for us, like, vote for our candidate so then we can continue to be in control. As far as I'm concerned now, and I'll say this to the police, the Prime Minister needs to be arrested for blackmail. And a considerable number of the Conservative Party and the Labour, Sadiq Khan, and they've ignored all the illegal road signage, issue. Theresa May did speak out about the police, but really nothing was done. She did admit there was corruption in the police. In Wales, they've got a 500,000 signature petition, just short of 500,000 signatures. It's 4 times as many signatures needed for a referendum of all Wales. Instead of giving the people the referendum, which could also have questions about 50 mile an hour speed limits, 20 mile an hour speed limits, illegal road signage, mobile camera vans, the whole thing, which is in and around the subject of 20 mile an hour speed limits. And we've called for the referendum. We've asked for it. You have to, in the law, it says, you can ask for it. And it's a prescribed procedure that it's prescribed procedure in law, and they're not giving us it. And the Secretary of State is obstructing it. Rather than give us it, Mark Drayford, the First Minister of Wales, has standed down from his job. He won't. When you ask for a prescribed procedure, they don't give you it. But when they're in control of the prescribed procedures, turn up at court, we're summoning you, this and that, come and vote at the election, they're all for it. Mark Drayford basically doesn't represent the people. He represents himself and his political party. And this is where political parties have become criminal, because they're elected to represent the people. They do have policies, but so what? Anyone can choose to override any policies by concentrating the voting power of the people. And the political parties don't really want to be politicians for the people. They want to be a politician for a political party. And this gives a nightmare scenario for Keir Starmer within Labour, because he's corrupt, he's a criminal. I've complained to Keir Starmer personally over Matt Drayford and Sadiq Khan now with both these matters. And this is where they're being tested, whether they will abide by the law and do what the law says through prescribed procedure, or whether they will show their true colours and be criminal. And they're being criminal. And unfortunately, people like Sue Hall, she's been asked all these questions about bus fares, policemen's wages, all these other questions. She doesn't know the answer to them. Now, she's been handed a 200,000 signature petition, well, in excess of. And that petition is addressed to the House of Commons. Why hasn't she requested Sadiq Khan turn the cameras off now? Because, firstly, she probably doesn't know because she is not qualified for the job and doesn't have the capacity to understand it. And even if we did tell her, she's banking on winning this election on Ulez. She needs people to be opposed to Ulez to get voted in. If the cameras were turned off last week or last month or even today, the people would realise what power they've got and they wouldn't need to vote for Sue Hall, and they may well vote for Reform UK or an independent candidate, and they definitely won't vote for Khan, the Ulez people, because of, you know, what he's done. But the people will realise, just a minute, we can do big things without having to vote for the people. We can do it through our signatures into the cause, not into one person, because we are the people. We are the people. And these people only want to do things for reward, favour. So this is like the judge's oath, you know, the judges will not act on favour. This is why the whole police notice of intended prosecution system is corrupt. It's illegal. Sue Hall will do all the Ulez campaigners a favour and turn the cameras off if they vote for her. Not if, they're not getting the cameras turned off with Dave Fowler's petition, and it's appealing a resolution of House of Commons, which is now subject to annulment of TfL expansion. So why are people still getting fined? Why are cameras still getting attacked? And why is the Prime Minister asking for police protection when there doesn't need to be any Ulez protest? There doesn't need to be any cameras taken down. There doesn't need to be an Extinction Rebellion protest, because all the petitions that are being unlawfully rejected in Parliament should be running. And things should be getting debated in Parliament. Maybe they need to expand. If they put as much money into the petitions committee in Parliament as they do into the police force,